am Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. Students and family in one community in Arkansas are honoring the life and legacy of a high school senior who lost her battle with leukemia. Catherine Rowley explains how they're moving forward with a purpose.
There wasn't a sporting event or pep rally that Piper Goodwin didn't attend, always cheering on her classmates. In the hallways of Rosebud High School, a high five waited for anyone she passed.
During basketball games, she'd be on the sidelines cheering. I remember always at halftime, she would always do like Michael Jackson dance, moonwalking or anything.
Her classmates describe her as a light that brightened everyone's day. She carried that light into the elementary school, especially in the second grade class where she volunteered.
As soon as she would walk through the door, I knew that we would just have to forget about what we were doing in that moment because the kids were going to rush to the door, Piper, and she would give hugs to everyone.
During her fight with leukemia, students wore orange ribbons alongside the red and black school colors to show support through her treatment, even other schools and districts joined in.
Yesterday we had our senior night for our baseball, and we had they painted a cap and gown and her name across there, and we put flowers out for her.
Classmates say her light was truly one of a kind, and her kindness will live on.
We can try and be more like Piper's purpose, and try and be more of a light to other people, just like she was.
In honor of their daughter, the family is in the process of setting up a foundation called Piper's Purpose, giving back to the community that Piper loved and that loved her. Their mission? Love.
1 Corinthians 13:13, it says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide, and of these three things, the greatest of these is love." And gosh, that just screams Piper.
The foundation will support the 4,000 wing at Arkansas Children's Hospital where Piper received her treatment, as well as White County students. As seniors prepare to walk, Piper will be there in the hearts of her classmates.
So even though her family doesn't really want to take it away from us, we're just going to honor her and everything we do. And when I'm walking out there, I know she's going to be in my heart.
If we can be kind and do those things and we're living like Piper, the world would be such a better place.
In Rosebud, Catherine Rowley.
A Virginia toddler now has a second lease on life after a Virginia Beach woman stepped up to donate part of her liver to save the young boy's life. The boy's mother got to meet the donor, and Derek Lytle brings us the powerful moment.
Jenna, this is Brett's donor, Courtney.
A hug, carrying emotions beyond the walls of the hospital. Jenna Powell walked in to meet her son's liver donor, Courtney Jones, but rewind just months ago. Jenna's son, Rhett, was in a fight for his life.
To wake up every day and wonder if today would be the last day my son was going to be alive was really scary.
Rhett was battling Alagille syndrome, his case so severe it was life or death. Powell put a plea out to social media, desperate to find a liver donor.
To the public and basically beg them to save your son is really difficult.
A Virginia Beach mother of three, Courtney Jones, saw the post and felt moved to see if she was a match, and she was, a perfect one, to donate a portion of her liver to save Powell's son.
And to see a woman with a child around the same age as ours step up and do that for my son that didn't know my son means so much.
Jones says she has a boy just months apart in age and wanted to give Rhett another shot at a healthy life like her son has.
You just have to say yes. That's the easy part. They have all the hard work to do.
Both Jones and Powell hope their story helps influence others to become living organ donors.
You just say yes and you recover and you go on to live a normal life, just with a scar.
Rhett is all smiles. Now he will push through recovery to enjoy growing up, and his mother says it's a miracle.
I smiled for the first time, and I realized that I had a ray of sunshine in every single dark day, and it was him.
Derek Lytle.
Both mothers say simple paperwork and a test can determine if you're a match. The liver can grow back after donation. And I just love the story so much. I've personally covered an organ donation match story where the family of one person met the recipient of their loved one's organ. And it was just such a heartwarming experience to be there as those two made that very special connection. Definitely a memorable moment. Alrighty, now a century-old school in Iowa has changed ownership now. Brandon Wynn spoke with the new owners about what they are hoping to do with the property.
For many in Minburn, this school used to be their alma mater, but a local couple is now renovating the building to make sure it's not lost to time.
The bell has long stopped ringing in the Washington Township School in Minburn.
Right now, part of the building is still occupied and used by the community for fish fries and things like that. And we like how sectioned off parts of the building are from each other because we want to keep that available to the public.
Brad and Lori Mortensen have bought the over 100-year-old building and hope to repurpose it for their wedding venue business, but also as a community center.
The community has been super supportive of everything that we've done so far. People are super excited to be able to come back into the building and share their stories.
Being built in 1921, the building has a storied history as various schools for the Minburn area, and the Mortensens want to honor those memories as much as possible.
The people that have stories of their grandparents or different events that they've been here, or that they've played on the witch hat in the yard, or they've been in the classrooms, or they graduated from here, or their grandpa graduated from here.
The Mortensens want to renovate the entire building with community spaces like the basketball court and areas for socializing and even live music for some events.
Knowing its history really gives us an appreciation for the gift that we've been given in this building. It's not just ours, even though our names are on the title, but it's really seen by the community as a part of their history.
Being stewards of that history is no small task, and one that they intend to take seriously.
The algorithms got a hold of it, and people who don't even know us were getting it fed into
100 or like 300 people have commented on it, and the community is stoked about thank you for doing this.
The Mortensens are currently working with contractors and architects to get a timeline for the project. In Minburn, Brandon Wynn.
A facility dog in one Pennsylvania school district is making high school a lot easier for students to navigate. Gabrielle Mediak shows us how this four-legged friend is bettering their lives while also celebrating a major milestone.
In the halls of Cedar Cliff High School, one of the most popular staff members doesn't have a degree, but does have a wagging tail.
Kids come to school because they know he's going to be here.
Meet Decker, a gentle Labrador retriever, known by students as Mr. D. He's become a part of the school community. For learning support teacher Deborah Fry, he's more than just a classroom companion. There's also a personal connection.
My younger son is a special education student. He's now an adult, but I did a lot of stuff volunteering for him.
It led her to get involved with United Disability Services in Lancaster, which offers resources for people living with disabilities.
And one of the things that they provide is service dogs, but not everybody gets to that service dog certification. So they need a place for our very smart dogs that come out of the program to have a second career.
Now, despite Decker's intelligence, health issues prevented him from becoming a full-time service animal. But Fry knew he had much more to give.
He is very loving. He is very accepting. Nothing seems to faze him.
She says he provides a unique form of support to kids.
One of the commands he knows is to cover, and that provides deep pressure treatment, that feeling of security. So he was able to, without him knowing, provide some comfort for one of our students here.
And he's always willing to lend a helping paw.
If you need something brought to you or carried down the hallway, he will carry it. He insists on carrying my lunch bag in.
On April 22nd, students returned the favor, taking time out of their busy school days to celebrate a big milestone. Decker's second birthday with a sweet treat. They were able to raise nearly $400 that will go toward his ongoing care.
That was Gabrielle Mediak reporting from Pennsylvania. A new museum in Dallas is open and taking a visit, well, it could prove to be a bit expensive, but also a wise investment. Sean Giggy takes us inside.
Everyone loves Mo money. At least you will. once you experience it.
First and foremost, we wanted to create something fun.
Hus Elmarapti is co-founder of the Museum of Money, or Mo Money for short. This new immersive museum experience, now open in Dallas, takes a deep dive into everything money. It's Instagrammable and educational, insightful and fun.
Everything about money is always, we don't talk about it.
Hus says money and financial literacy can be difficult and frustrating, but through interactive exhibits and fun games, they hope you walk away smarter and smilier.
You can come and just have a little bit of fun or have a lot of education.
You can barter like people used to before paper money or coins, shower yourself in Benjamins, and understand the impact investing just $5 a day can make.
These small little things that I can change in my attitude towards money can make an impact about my life and my future.
You may not go home with actual money, but you'll leave
rich with perspective.
Yeah. I need more money. More money.
Work that body for me. Work that body for me. Work that body.
All right, that was Sean Giggy reporting from Dallas. I could see the appeal. There's something that is going to keep you visiting the place and keep you engaged, rather, while you're there. Alrighty, coming up next on Featured, what are the odds two siblings, apart for years, end up in the same nursing home without knowing it? We'll share their incredible story. Plus, a life dedicated to helping others. How one woman's decades-long commitment to patience is being called a legacy of compassion and care. They grew up side by side in Ohio. Then life took them in different directions for decades. And now a reunion between siblings nobody could have planned. Here's Lindsay Buckingham.
75-year-old Ralph Slaughter is making up for lost time with his big sister, Becky Gibson.
She changed my diapers.
Growing up side by side in the Akron area.
Taking care of me. Going ice skating on a pond across the street.
But as it often does, life carried them apart.
I went to Kentucky for like 20 years, and I went to Florida for 20 years.
They'd see each other every few years when Ralph came back to visit, but eventually, nearly a decade slipped by without seeing each other at all.
We tried to go see you years back and find you.
Then this past January, fate paid a visit. Ralph's daughter brought him back to Ohio and moved him here to Roselane Nursing and Rehabilitation in Massillon, a far cry from his sunny Florida lifestyle.
You know, I mean, I didn't want to come, but I'm here.
Little did anyone know.
My niece had called, I guess, my daughter and told them that my sister's right down the hall. And I knew she was in a home, but I didn't know where.
A moment that felt meant to be. These days, Becky doesn't have a lot of words, but some moments don't need them.
We went down there, my grandson took me down there, and there she was. And she knew me. You knew me.
After nearly a decade.
It felt pretty good. Yeah, it did. Inspiring. We've been together every day since.
Because for these siblings, no time that passed could ever shake their bond.
Just sit around and watch the geese outside. Yeah, we do that.
Now, they'll never waste a single moment.
I didn't know I'd ever see her again. And here we ended up here together.
They know more than anyone that life is too short.
Don't wait so long to see your relatives.
They're always closer than you think.
Try to see them whenever you can.
Lindsay Buckingham.
Oh, that is perfect. I'm so glad they reunited. For nearly 4 decades at a cancer center in Buffalo, New York, one woman helped lead a mission that has touched countless lives. Upon her retirement, it's clear her legacy will not be measured in dollars, but in lives touched. Here's Melissa Holmes.
You know, I'm so proud of what we've built.
For nearly 40 years, Cindy Eller made sure no one faced cancer alone.
This is about people's journeys, and I've had the privilege of being on this journey with so many family members and their loved ones, and it really is a privilege.
As the founder and driving force behind the Roswell Park Alliance Foundation, she helped raise nearly $700 million for Roswell.
Sure, the number's great, but it's not even about the number, it's about what you do with it, right?
The money she raised has touched and saved countless lives through funding cutting-edge research, enhancing treatment, adding more buildings on campus and Kaminsky Park, and more quality of life and support programs like the salon and transportation, therapy dogs and translation services, and daily live music in the lobby.
Think about how many lives she's touched. Think about the people she's saved by the money she's raised for all this cutting-edge research over this time. She's one of the most selfless people I've ever known in my entire life.
Colleagues say no matter how busy Cindy was, people always came first.
And I've never worked for anybody that has the kind of heart she does. She is so patient-centric, caregiver-centric, human being-centric. She just inspires you to want to be a better person.
You know, you have to be present. And this is a very emotional place. Cancer impacts people's souls, and you can't rush that conversation.
Now a place for patients and families to rest, reflect, and feel less alone carries her name.
I'm really touched.
The hospitality room at the entrance to Roswell was dedicated to Cindy when she retired earlier this month.
It's a place of compassion, and that makes me prouder than proud to have my name on that. I love you all. Thank you.
Even in retirement, she says her mission to help cancer patients and their loved ones doesn't end.
Roswell is part of who I am, and I don't think that I can ever not be a part of it in some way. I've been very blessed to have the opportunity to be in a job that is so fulfilling.
That was Melissa Holmes reporting from Buffalo, New York. Still ahead, a new choir program aims to give purpose to patients with Parkinson's, how it's helping slow the progression of the disease one note at a time. And a barber is transforming the experience of getting a haircut for kids with autism, creating comfort, trust, and confidence. How he is now taking that mission into his community. Even if you don't remember Vikings cornerback Roniel Whitaker for his plays on the field, he just ensured his legacy will live on long after his death. He saved 4 lives through organ donation. Kent Erdahl spoke with his partner about that incredible gift.
Pro athletes often seem larger than life.
Huge personality.
Roniel Whitaker was no exception.
He was a character.
Lori Charbonneau first met Roniel when he played cornerback with the Vikings from 2006 to 2007, and the two reconnected and began dating 4 years ago.
It's a gift that I got to know him and have a relationship with him for so long.
But in February, it came to a sudden end when Roniel suffered a brain aneurysm.
Unfortunately, it was catastrophic, and he wasn't going to make it.
But before he left, he made one last stop.
There's a major sense of calmness here.
Roniel was transferred to mHealth Fairview's donor care unit because he had more life to give.
Ultimately, our goal is we want to honor the donor and their families, and that means maximizing the gift.
Erin Shodden is nurse manager for the first freestanding donor care unit in the state.
What does having a dedicated space mean?
I think for us, one of the biggest aspects is what we can offer to families with this. They're not dealing with the hustle and bustle of an ICU.
Neither are the care teams. And thanks to a partnership with LifeSource, Shodden says the results speak for themselves. In the first year, the unit helped 38 donors save 142 lives through organ donation. That translates to more than 4 organs per donor.
The national average is 3.2.
And their success with delicate lung transplants is even more impressive.
We are at 65% lung utilization recovery compared to a national average of 20%. So we're really proud of that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because you can have dedicated teams that can address it?
We feel that that's a big part of it, yes.
Roniel's lungs were among 4 life-saving gifts he ended up making to those in desperate need.
I think about their families and I think about how their health is now, hoping that they're feeling better. He would have been so proud and happy to have helped them. He donated his heart to science as well, so that's pretty amazing.
That could save many more lives.
It could. Just knowing research, it's so important.
And she's beyond grateful it all happened here.
There was a sense of relief that I could visit him here at any time, which I did every day until the end. You know, that was something that I'll always be really happy about.
That was Kent Erdahl reporting from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, Lori says she's been so moved by the care she received that she instantly became an advocate for organ and tissue donation. And she hopes that sharing Roniel's story will help save even more lives. It is just a quick decision you can make that will literally live on in someone else. Alrighty, coming up next, puppies with a purpose. How some special college students are helping little puppies bring hope to those who need it most. Also ahead, we'll show you how one organization in Virginia is breaking chains and broadening horizons, one child at a time. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. Indiana University Health is helping Parkinson's patients strengthen their voices one note at a time. It all started with something called the Parkinson's Choir. Members say they've discovered singing slows the progression of their symptoms. Here's Jenny Runevich with more.
At the IU Health Neuroscience Center, patients are finding hope and healing through harmony.
This is a Parkinson's choir.
Hitting all the right notes to slow the progression of Parkinson's disease. Led by a music therapist, this performance has purpose. Since IU Health started the choir at the end of last year, doctors have seen proven therapeutic benefits in patients' speech, breath volume, vocal strength, and motor symptoms.
Just from participating in the program, which to me is really significant because soft voice and changes in voice are very common parts of Parkinson's and can really be one of the many symptoms that can contribute to poor quality of life and social isolation in Parkinson's.
The choir is boosting mood, spirit, and connection too. And if you've been watching closely, you may have seen a familiar face in this group, our friend and former colleague, Rich Van Wyk.
They brought me in for my good looks.
Still has that wicked sharp wit, but the Parkinson's diagnosis in 2022 was tough. Sharing it publicly now, not easy either.
It is very difficult because you're dealing with a disease that has no cure. You can't win, but you can determine the point spread.
Which is why he started boxing 3 days a week and, begrudgingly at first, tried the Parkinson's Choir.
When my wife tried to encourage me to join this group, it wasn't a unanimous decision, but the music is working. And you're working on your breathing, you're working on your voice, which doesn't sound important, but one of the things Parkinson steals is your voice.
A cruel irony for someone who made a living using his so well. But Rich and the other patients have seen a difference, physically and emotionally. They're all in the same boat, lifting up voices and each other.
In addition to singing, there's camaraderie, there's understanding. You're looking out for one another, and that's very important.
IU Health hopes to expand the choir. It's been that clinically successful, and this group's been getting standing ovations for music and much more.
It was applause for our courage, and that we're not alone. And I'll take that any day of the week.
So will we, Rich. So will we.
That was Jenny Runevich reporting. A barber in Texas is changing the way kids with autism experience haircuts, turning something that can tend to feel scary and overwhelming into something fun and comfortable by creating a calm, welcoming space. Well, now he is taking that same passion and organizing a walk to raise awareness about autism. Here's Lydia Herrera.
For children living with autism, those sounds, textures, and environment of a barbershop can feel overwhelming. But for Jacob Spee, those challenges became a calling.
I have 2 nephews who are autistic, and every day, they always say it's bad. It's not. Every day is either a challenge an adventure, but yes, sometimes a battle.
After seeing his nephew struggle with haircuts, he knew something had to change.
So we're just trying to bring this acceptance, bring this education, you know what I mean? So we can kind of just teach, people how to kind of minimize all those negative aspects on having autism and turn them into positives.
Starting with his barbershop, creating a space designed with sensory needs in mind.
Purchase some tools that are a little more quieter, because of the sensory, disorders they do have. These quieter tools does help from the experience they come in, and minimize their anxieties.
But Spee didn't stop at his shop. He organized Barbers Walk for Autism to spread awareness, something Dr. Jennifer Scott says is making a big difference.
Love that he is putting this walk together. A lot of people are aware of autism, but it's time to move on to that acceptance part of things where our population is inclusive into the community.
Angela Gonzalez never imagined a haircut could be life-changing for her child.
So if you have somebody that is used to cutting hair for kids with special needs and understands the sensitivities that they have, I think that goes a long way.
Because sometimes it's not just about a haircut. It's about understanding, patience, and inclusion. One step, one cut, one child at a time.
Something as small as that can really change someone's life. And really, that's what we're trying to do, man. We're just trying to change people's lives.
Lydia Herrera.
A high school junior in Indiana is pushing his limits in a big way. Get this, training to run 100 miles non-stop. No breaks to even sleep. Well, Jenna Webster shows us what's driving him to go the distance.
While most students want to spend spring break relaxing.
Yeah, so I'm running this morning I ran 5.
For Charlie Rolfson, it just means more time to run.
Just finished mile number 1.
Charlie is training to run 100 miles.
With a 6:39 pace, all right?
All.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely
without stopping.
Challenging. I'm predicting around 30 hours, maybe less because I've been training.
Did I mention he's not a runner?
It's gonna be hard.
Hard is an understatement. Last fall, Charlie ran 65 miles straight in 22 hours.
And I was falling asleep while running and stuff and hallucinating and stuff, but this time I've got a plan.
Some might call it torture. Charlie calls it a challenge. It's his own course he's running after all, not any formal ultra marathon.
So I want to show people that a regular person can do challenging tasks and do amazing things and pull off stuff that you yourself or a bunch of people around you might not think is possible.
So I am just in awe. It makes my knees hurt just thinking about it.
Mom Stephanie is on the pit crew in charge of snacks and making sure he stays safe.
Just feel proud that he would want to push himself to do something like this, and especially for such a great cause.
Charlie is running to raise $100,000 for Riley.
Everyone knows at least someone who they've helped and saved.
Our oldest daughter, his oldest sister, went to Riley when she was born. And so I have an immense gratitude for Riley and what they do.
With that in mind, Charlie has no doubt he's up for the challenge.
I know my mental can beat my physical, and as long as I want to do it and I drive for it enough, I can do it.
No time to rest now. In Greenwood, Jenna Webster.
Charlie actually already ran his 100 miles. My goodness, he started on April 25th and finished the next day. He ran for 27 hours, 25 minutes, and 11 seconds, beating his 30-hour goal. He also raised $21,000 for a local children's hospital. Way to go. I don't know how he did it, but I know everyone in that community is just super proud of him for sticking to his goal and exceeding it. Alrighty, a strong foundation in writing is critical for student success, but it doesn't always come easy for every child. The volunteers at Chainbreakers are working to help students in Virginia who need support. Janet Roach has a look at the work that they are doing.
The beauty of accomplishment.
What we're doing is giving children the skills they need to be able to decode words that they don't know.
One letter, one sound, one word at a time.
So what is this word? Mat. Sat.
Cat, excellent.
Literacy is the primary focus of Chain Breakers, an organization that's been around for 20 years, going into schools, working with elementary children, arming them with the power of words.
It gives them some self-esteem. It doesn't take long. We're only here for a week, but it does give them the power to understand that they can figure it out.
There have been students who didn't want to stop working because they finally caught on. They're like, I can read now.
I'll always do my best. Say it, go. Say it again.
Volunteers work with students who might need a little extra help. They spend 4 days with the kids and then a 5th day holding a workshop for parents. And that's not all.
We do Nourish the Neighborhood, where we provide hot meals to families and children twice a month through Mercy Chefs.
I see a map.
But reading enrichment is at the top of their list, where they say every book opens a door. What this nonprofit would like to see is the SOL reading scores inch up higher, and they are on the right path.
They've picked it up and they're doing a great job with it.
That was Janet Roach reporting from Virginia. A Marine veteran in Washington, D.C. is getting a life-saving gift. Students at the University of Maryland are part of a program that made it all possible. Together, they are making a positive impact that goes far beyond the classroom. Here's Sean Martinelli.
At the University of Maryland, the land of Terps is being overtaken by pups.
I feel like when we walk down the street, we'll get a lot of people like, oh my God, like, how'd you get that dog?
Juniors Jensen Speck and Jackson Bennett recently welcomed a third roommate.
Good boy.
Meanwhile, freshman Olivia Dick couldn't turn down this golden opportunity.
So when I came here and I saw this program, I just knew like I had to do it. They're learning valuable life lessons that honestly no one could really teach them except from the love of a dog.
Christine Gardner helps run a program called Terps Raising Pups. Students spend months living with dogs like these.
Good boy.
Pups will eventually get more training and go to a veteran or someone who is blind.
It can be a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of noise, a lot of accidents that you have to clean up.
A challenge they say is worthwhile.
100%, yeah.
Knowing that the dog is going to go and change someone's life forever.
Molly. Yes, good girl.
People like Dudley Ward.
I didn't really realize how much of an impact it was going to make. But yeah, she's changed my whole life.
Dudley served our country as a Marine, a police officer, and a Secret Service agent. All those jobs took their toll.
Yeah, I just got to the point where I was like, I wanted to take my own life.
Then came Molly.
I couldn't imagine life without her now, to be really honest. Life is a lot better now.
Better because of an army of people. Those like these students who give their time for a dog they will give away.
What does that mean to you?
I always get emotional when I talk about them. I will probably never be thankful enough for everything that these guys do.
Good boy, Joe.
Many of the raisers never meet the ever grateful recipients like Dudley.
And we know that they're gonna love him just as much as we love him right now.
It will be a very hard day when we have to split up.
How are you gonna get through that?
I don't know. A lot of ice cream, probably. Nice.
Good boy.
A sweet sacrifice from one stranger
Good girl.
to another. Sean Martinelli.
All right, coming up on Featured, the shop door opened and a stranger walked in. Oh boy, we'll share the story behind chicken noodles. Plus, a 14-year-old girl swept up by beetle mania. Our sister station in San Diego tracked her down 62 years later. Hear her story coming up next. We all know chicken noodle soup can be good for the soul, but in this case, it's a chicken named Noodles warming hearts. Boyd Hubert shows us how.
Time was if you mentioned chicken in Truman, Minnesota. Thoughts turned to the lunch special at the Casey's. No more.
This is Noodles.
This is Noodles.
One of the crew.
And these are Truman's Public Works employees who had their shop door open about a year ago.
She was out back
when a stranger walked in.
Something had been chasing her and had her tore up pretty good. She was missing a lot of feathers and she didn't look good.
Brent Brown and the others
We're pretty familiar with the community.
asked around.
Nobody claimed her.
Then, a funny thing happened.
She decided this was her home.
Up front at City Hall,
Yep.
the clerk set about
That was Melissa and I.
finding a name.
I thought Nugget was a great name, but I got outvoted for Noodles. Chicken noodle soup, chicken nuggets.
All right, Noodles.
Then big, strong, hard workers
We say, son.
found their soft sides.
There you go, sweetheart.
Mike Ray helped feed Noodles. Then Noodles fed him.
In our skid loader, right there in the seat. An egg. Went home for lunch and fried up the egg.
Noodles laid dozens more around that corner.
It's her way of thanking us, I guess. Anytime you're doing any kind of work, she's right there. She's got to know what you're doing. Loves being around people.
Free to leave at any time, the same way she came in. She hasn't.
She's definitely been a morale lifter for sure. Fire departments have Dalmatians. Well, the utility crew's got a chicken.
A hen with a hankering for surprises.
That's something. You ever see a chicken walk up the steps? It's a thing.
You gotta walk up steps to get here.
Very comfortable.
The highest spot in the shop, looking over her domain.
This is her place. She knows it.
Still, a working garage. But so much better to have.
Come here, sweetie.
Clucks
That's my girl.
with your trucks.
That's my girl.
Boyd Hooper.
Our station in San Diego, CBS 8, was the city's first television station, and you truly never know what's hiding in the archives vault. Jeff Zevaley shows us some newly uncovered footage of Beatlemania from 1964 and introduces us to one of the band's biggest fans. Take a look.
That's the best part of discovering this forgotten archive footage. With the snap of a finger, we're back in 1964. At the peak of Beatlemania, when the Fab Four was performing around the world,
The Beatles were everything. Oh, their accent was so dreamy.
Lucille Tulamello and dozens of other teenagers went to a San Diego theater to watch the Beatles perform on a big screen.
But I remember them saying that this closed circuit concert was the first ever.
Okay, I'll get to all of you in just a minute. Let me talk to them for a second. Hi.
CBS 8 covered the event with TV8 Dance Time host Bob Howard, who interviewed a 14-year-old Lucille Tulamello.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
There you are.
Here's a young lady who apparently likes them too because she's got a sweatshirt that says the Beatles and it has all the fellas' signatures and everything on it. What's your name?
Lucille Tulamello.
Where do you go to school, Lucille?
Fairfield Junior High.
When we called Lucille and told her we found this lost footage,
That is amazing. Oh my God. I couldn't believe that you actually found something from 1964. That was just so incredible.
Lucille has been a lifelong CBS 8 viewer, but never dreamed she'd be the focus of a feature story.
Why do you say they're different?
Well, their haircuts and their style. They got different style.
How old are you?
14.
Following that interview, the teenagers filed into the theater to watch the Beatles perform for 90 minutes.
From that moment on, I wanted to go to Liverpool.
Lucille did just that and took her children on a trip of a lifetime.
We planned this trip in 1995 and we went everywhere. Went and saw their houses where they grew up.
Maria Budman, Lucille's daughter, will never forget the magical mystery bus tour.
John Lennon's uncle got on the bus with us and sat in front of me and I touched his shoulder. So I was really excited about that.
As for that 90-minute closed-circuit television concert in 1964,
It was so crowded in there. Oh my gosh.
and somewhere in that screaming crowd, Lucille was dancing her brains out. So how did we find Lucille? CBS 8 archives editor Barb Nielsen found that footage. She sent it to P. Hicks, a film archivist, and while digitizing it, he heard Lucille's name. We called her in Murrieta. She was one and the same, and the connection was made.
Why do you like the Beatles so much?
Oh, they're cute and they got sex appeal and...
Sex appeal. I didn't even know what sex appeal was. I can't
That is wonderful. And that was Jeff Zevaley reporting from San Diego. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile just had to make a stop at one family's home in Washington. Find out why coming up next. A family in Washington has a surprising name, and they recently received a surprising visitor. The Wienermobile, you know, it usually stops at supermarkets and festivals, but this is a special stop for a special family. Here's St. Brian with more.
The family that grills together. On a Sunday in the Renton Highlands, there are hot dogs on the grill, buns on the table, and coming down the street, a visit that almost feels meant to be. Because here lives a family with a name that's been turning heads for years.
Hi, I'm Oscar Mayer III.
I'm Oscar Mayer IV.
And I'm Oscar Mayer V.
We first met them in 2009 when the fifth was a newborn.
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
It would be big sister Chloe's idea to surprise Grandpa for his 79th birthday.
Holy. I love it.
He's a crazy guy, so I gave him a crazy surprise.
Yay! Hey!
The first Oscar Mayers we've driven in the Wienermobile.
Man who has spent nearly 80 years sharing a name with a hot dog brand.
Pretty awesome. This is unbelievable.
Finally meets the hot dog.
My kids, I knew they hated me. I just didn't believe that they would do this to me.
Say cheesy weenie.
In all honesty, all the Oscars say their names have been blessings.
This is just a real special, crazy, weird experience. Being named after a hot dog, I guess, has its benefits.
If you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A. Woo!
It's fun. Everywhere I go, Oscar Bochelowski, B-O-L-G-N-A. You know, look at me, like, oh, Mayer, yeah, okay.
Back at home, more rewards for a name that always brings a smile.
And then for the 3 Oscars, you guys gotta get your own Wienermobile Hot Wheels. Okay.
We relish the Oscar Mayers here. We've had an absolute blast today. This will go down in hot dog history as one of my favorite events.
It's certainly one of his favorites.
Well, I think my granddaughter's crazier than I am, and that's pretty bad. This is, wow.
A name passed down, a memory made. And one Sunday they'll be talking about for generations.
1, 2, 3.
Just when you think you've seen or heard it all, there's something else you can discover. That was St. Brian reporting from Washington. All right, that is it for this episode of Featured. Until next time, make it a great one.